own brand of sunshine football here. It's been a great first 45 minutes with some fine individual displays, none more so than this guy, Robinho, who scored one, he assisted in another, and has been basically a general all-around pain for Olympia that just cannot get anywhere near him.
No, they can't, but the crowd certainly enjoy his flicks and back heels. I think at one instance there were 2 or 3 back heels in a row, so he has been superb, full of confidence. And of course we've seen it against a lesser team like this today, but in Serie A this coming season, can we see it on the big stage?
This is always it, isn't it? You sometimes as a fan, maybe as a coach or whatever, somebody involved with the club, you almost feel cheated if you see them performing so under what you know they're capable of. And you know, many occasions he's done that. You know what he can do. Get out there and do it.
No,
he's in a privileged position.
He most certainly is. We've seen it for Brazil. We saw, of course, Real Madrid, the cameos now and then. Manchester City now and then. It's not enough. For someone of that talent, you don't want to look back and think, wow, I should have done, so much more. And that's the problem. And I think at Milan, he does seem more settled, certainly, but there's always rumours around him. That's the problem. Put him to bed and play.
Absolutely. And he was quoted again in the last couple of days saying that there had been a bid made by Santos which had been turned down by Milan. But, if they're making bids, maybe he's still unsettled. Does he really want to go back there? He had a spell back there. I think it was 2010 he went back on a loan period there, but it wasn't what you call a raging success, but they love him. I remember that at the time that he was coming through the Santos team that went on to win the Copa Libertadores for the first time since Pelé did. I was doing that with Jerry Armstrong, you might remember, and he was part of that generation of players, and there was so much more expected of him. Like you said, we've seen cameos, but we've never seen a consistent Robinho.
I think what's also interesting, maybe this is changing the face of football in regard to the powers that be of which countries really can attract these players. Now, going back to Brazil, you would have thought, well, maybe you shouldn't make that move. However, the Brazilian league now, there's a lot of money there, and they're keeping their very good players. And of course, PSG, well, suddenly you wouldn't go to the French league. However, they just nicked 2 of their best players, paid a fortune for them. They can't keep hold of them, so maybe.
I was going to say, I did laugh actually when I saw Ibrahimovic in an interview quoting the one of those famous old statements that's trotted out by players that move from one club to another. He was a bit angry with the way that he was dealt with. He said, PSG, much better club than Milan, much better. Mesba's into the game, and De Sciglio. The number 2 and the number 15, De Sciglio, 19-year-old right-sided defender. Made 3 appearances last season. He played in the Milan derby in May. He's an under-21 international, and he is a big talent as well. Again, he's another player we've seen with the youth internationals. This is Luciano Emilio. So the changes have been rung for Olympia as well. I think they've realised unless they actually up the ante a bit, they could be on the end of a significant hiding here. Mesba, the Algerian international, began his career in the Swiss leagues. Right in the thick of the picture, some good movement in there from quite a hefty contingent from Olympia. Clearance in the end from Constant. This is where they got themselves into a little bit of trouble in the first half. There's a clip off the hand. They do only play it out from the back. I don't think we've seen them play one quick ball. No,
exactly right. And of course there you see 4 Milan players, so they give them a little bit of time. Once they get it down the centre halves, they then go nice and tight and close it down. And unfortunately, Olympia play right into their hands. Got to be very, very careful of that. Clearly, surely the coach should have said that to them at half-time. And what do they do? 1 minute into it, they do exactly the same thing.
This is Garcia into Emilio, and the shot from another one of the subs, Rojas. Rojas, whose nickname is Roro, played in the Under-20 World Cup with Honduras back in 2009, and actually went on to score on his international debut. He's the youngest ever international goal scorer for the Honduran team. This is Cassano. Something of a youth prodigy in his time as well. Still only 30 years of age. There's still plenty of football left in Antonio Cassano. Bonera's going to let it roll, and you can already see there's a bit more intent about Olimpia. They're pressing Milan a little bit further up the field.
Well, I think also with fresh legs, they've been told to, right, get on there. You didn't certainly do yourself justice in the first 45. Put them under some sort of pressure.
There's another sub in there as well, Javier Portillo. This is better. It'll give us a bit more of a spectacle in this second half. Been reminded of the importance of the occasion this year. There's Mejia. That was Rojas. Back there by Becheles. Finds Mejia. Well, nothing wrong with that challenge, and Cassano's got it now for Milan. You can see Sharawi, but he was being well tracked there, and the free kick conceded. Not a bad attempt. And Mesba scored one goal last season in a 2-2 draw with Juventus in the Coppa Italia. 3 seasons he spent with Lecce. As the man of the first half, along with Robinho Nocerino. Back it goes to De Souza. Valadares is the goalkeeper, has been replaced then as well.
Just near D'Silio, I mean, the 2 fullbacks for Milan have been taken off, Antonini and Abate. So fresh legs at fullbacks. Mesba on the left-hand side. And again, when they're in so much possession, it is important for the fullbacks really to push on, make an extra attacking man. They did that very well in the first half.
Well, plenty of South American support, but they've had precious little to cheer. Goal. Well, they're going to have to play an awful lot better than they did in the first half if they're going to get one of those. First touch for the substitute keeper, Escobar. There's plenty more action in the build-up to the season coming up on ESPN this week. You'll be able to see on Thursday Tottenham Hotspur in action against Valencia. It's funny, you were talking about earlier on players who had heart problems. There was another one who just suffered Maduro. You might remember the Dutch international who went over to play in Spain, the former Ajax man who was given his international debut by Van Basten. He's just in the States this week getting a treatment for that condition. No news yet on how he's fared there. 25 is Bonera. It's Constant. And Palacios just guiding it back to Escobar. Looking for Emilio. At least he's putting the keeper under a bit of pressure.
Well, they've gone from playing around at the back to just whacking it straight upfield now. Somewhere in the middle, I think, would be useful.
There's De Sciglio. 18 is Montolivo to Nocerino. One back again though. This is Portillo. Well, he hasn't touched the ball for a few minutes. When he does, there's a bit of trickery involved in it. Zana's in there now. Can he find a finish? No, that'll be a disappointment to him. It was in just what you would call the perfect position. Sat up nicely, just snatched at it a bit.
He did. I was waiting for that one to ripple the back of the net, but again, it's excellent movement. And Olympia really are trying just to hang on. I mean, sometimes with these friendly games as well, second half it does die off. They make so many different changes as well, but they've only made 2, Milan, so you would have thought that certainly Allegri must have told his players, right, same again for 15-20 minutes, then we'll make those changes. So probably another goal would certainly please the coach, and then he can make a couple of changes.
And you can see Emilio lurking there. If they get the cross right, then he's got half a chance. This is Cordova. Portillo. Garcia. Sano. De Souza with the interception. Too much pace on that for Emilio.
And there again, it's a wonderful ball from Montolivo, and does really well Cassano because he chests it across his defender as well. Thought just the finish, didn't quite grab it, but Montolivo, that's his last moment of the game, and it was a good one.
Yeah, steady game for Montolivo. Gets generous applause from the supporters turned out today. And Cristante is into the game. As we said, you're being introduced to some of the players that you may not have seen in a Milan shirt. Although Brian Cristante did actually make his debut for Milan last season. He's just 17 years of age. And he played against Victoria Pilsen in the Champions League. So again, a player pretty much for the future. But Italy's youth teams in the last couple of years have been throwing up some big talent. This is Garcia. Just about 10 minutes gone in this second period. I think that snuck another change on there as well. This is Reina, the number 20, who's into the game. Emilio waiting in the penalty area and too close to the keeper. Rojas is waiting on the back post as well. Played behind Robinho by Nocerino. Robinho. Zano. Quite coming off for them this half so far. Is Reina. Poor ball that by Reina.
I've actually been impressed with Constant. I mean, he hasn't been on the ball very much, but any time there's a problem at left back, he's gone and filled there. I mean, he keeps his position extremely well, very well disciplined, and I think that'll be important to build that midfield with players like that really can fill in, while then allowing Shaarawy, Cassano and of course Robinho to go and do their stuff up front.
There he is again, Constant. Throw into Olympia. Another change coming for Olympia. Mejia is being replaced. And he's being replaced by Juan Ramon Mejia. Well, he had a few moments in the first half, but I don't think it's been anywhere quite near his best performance.
No, because he certainly looked talented enough and technically very good.
Not much of an understanding between he and Michelis. I mean, there were occasions when he actually tried to get that overlap working, but it just didn't work, did it? The two of them didn't seem to have much of an understanding. So here they come again, though. This is Garcia.
I think you can really tell, can't you, between quality players at the Milan level. Of course, when they get into those sort of areas in the last third, it's a quality ball in, and we've seen Cassano 3 or 4 occasions pick out that player ball every time. Unfortunately, the Olympia players get there. They haven't been able to do that.
Cassano's away again, waiting for Sharawi to get up in support of Nocerino or Robinho. And again, almost with a casual abandon, he just swept it up there.
Again, it's a wonderful ball in, and it's not rushed. He looks up. Where's the support? There it is, into his path. Maybe right foot would have been the one, but hits it on target. Couldn't quite finish it.
Safe handling from Escobar in the Olympia goal. This is Bonera. Sharawi, who's been very quiet in this game, you'd have to say. Great delivery, and again is Robinho, who's the closest to getting on the end of it. This is, well, Reina's going to leave it. This is Portillo. Back to Emilio. Once the return ball broken up by Cristante. Nocerino.
Already the young lad Cristante, you can see why he's so highly rated. I mean, he's had 7-8 touches of the ball, and he's played the right one at the right time every single time. That's impressive for a young lad.
This is Mesba. Picked off that time by Palacios. At 23 is Cordova. Again, those outstretched palms. There's been a few complaints from some of the players about the lack of movement from some of the others. This is a Portillo. It's Cristante. Robinho. Nocerino. Expect to see a few more changes as we come up to the hour mark as well, with the game against Real Madrid on the horizon. The horizon, of course, is what's going to be a fantastic European football season here with ESPN. With not only Serie A, but of course coverage from Bundesliga and from the Eredivisie and from the Championnat, as well as Serie A. So every weekend is going to be chock solid with some of the best football you'll see around Europe. Into Emilio. Emilio's still there. Well, that was beautifully caught hold of by Reina. Exceptionally good technique then from the substitute.
That really was an excellent strike, wasn't it? As the ball bounces up, it's just one thing in his mind. He has to hit straight through the ball. Great connection, just over the bar.
It's a good bit of foraging done there by Rojas. Again, if they do this short little interchange of the passes for long enough, they give it away, and they've given it away to Cassano. He's got Robinho in the penalty area, and Cassano trying to go the long way around. Sousa leaving it and just sweeping it out of play. Giglio with the throw in. Back to Nocerino, finds Cristante. Into the path of Mesba. 21 is constant. Cristante again. Hasn't given the pass away yet. You highlighted it again, and once again he makes the right pass at the right time.
Very impressive, and of course Montolivo plays that deep lying role like Pirlo does. Well, Cristante is that sort of player, and he's just a young man to be able to do that. It is very impressive. So that's where you see these sorts of players in this sort of game. It's great to see them with the big experienced players and the young boys. It's such a big game for him. May not be for others, but for him it is very important in his learning and his development.
Bonera, that's a fantastic ball, that by Bonera, and ball wide by Cassano. Thought we were going to again get ready to celebrate.
And again, it's just too easy, isn't it? Unfortunately, the opposite fullback or centre half just plays him on, but Cassano, excellent run, excellent ball. You'd expect him to certainly make better connection with it. The goalkeeper may have had it covered anyway.
It's Kevin Constant who's going to go off, as we're going to get a treble change here. You can see Herbie Emmanuelson, who got the goal in the victory over Chelsea. Amelia's going off. Oh, my word. You love this. Velotti is going on. I think we've got Eduardo Pezzagli going into goal as well. See if we can try and get these all that. The big cheer for the departing Brazilian, who's had a fine first half, and they rise to appreciate the show that he put on, and it was quite a considerable show that first 45 minutes.
No, it certainly was. He was extremely impressive, had everything, had a goal, flicks, tricks. Really was very good indeed.
So I think we have had Herbie Emmanuelson, and well, certainly Mattia Velotti has come off. There's another change here. This is Arevalo, who's going to come on. Mattia Velotti is just 18 years of age. He too is another of the under-19 internationals, came from Albino Leffe last year. Scored recently for the Italian national team at under-19 level in a 4-1 victory over Armenia. Zagli, as we said, has also come on, 23-year-old goalkeeper, formerly of Fiorentina. Never played for them, he was always loaned out. This is Reina. Now we know how well he can hit the ball. Cristante. 28 is Herbie Emmanuelson, a player who many people think that Bert van Marwijk made a big mistake in leaving out of the Dutch national team in the European Championships. He's almost certain to be back under the new coach, Louis van Gaal. He's taken over, involves Patrick Kluivert as well as one of his assistants there, along with Danny Blind. That's going to be an interesting couple of years with Louis van Gaal leading up to the World Cup finals for sure. Now this is Garcia, it's done brilliantly now. Garcia! He did everything right then, Garcia. He tried to play it into the path of the substitute who's just come in, Reina. And Reina Rojas.
It's an excellent move, wasn't it? And Garcia, as he comes in, it's an excellent ball in, but Decilio got caught actually high up the right-hand pitch, and that's what opened the spaces up. But
it was the right ball to play as well, wasn't it?
It certainly was. No, he did pick out the right ball that occasion. Would have loved to have certainly scored a goal, and it is just a consolation goal and make it a bit more interesting, but unfortunately not.
This is Cristante. 57 is Velotti. Pagerino looking for Herbie Emmanuelson, whose career has developed somewhat when he broke into the team at Ajax. He was initially a left back He used to go on these rampaging runs up and down the flank, and he was a constant striker of the ball as well, getting in these attacking positions, rarely off target, great left foot. Actually, at the time, the player that was playing in front of him, and the two of them had a really good understanding, was Ryan Babel, who's these days being given the elbow in Germany. Never really settled into life there, and he's been told that he can go and look for another club.
Here we see Gathia, his move again. At least he looks up, plays the right ball. Just couldn't quite get on the end of it. A little bit too much pace, and you don't want to actually slide too much on this stuff because it actually hurts.
It's a very good point, actually. There's Portillo. Leaves it for Reina. Reina might have a dig here. He does. And that was a good save, that, from Pazagli. Just the way he nonchalantly raised that hand to just guide it behind the post.
And he certainly needed to. It's a long way out. You'd think, OK, have a shot from there. Well, he did. And, of course, it bounced. And, of course, you see the pace gets taken off the shot. And that's the difficulty for the goalkeeper because he's across. He's got to watch it all the way. And you're right, just put it away around the post.
Corner kick to defend here for Milan. Are you a fan of this artificial playing surface or not? It certainly makes for good football to watch. Fast-flowing football, I mean, as an entertainment spectacle. But what about from your perspective?
Well, I'm getting to like it more and more because the quality of these pitches are getting better and better. I just think this one hasn't got enough water on. I've seen many that get absolutely soaked and they play really fast, which is nice for the players. And, of course, you can play all year round. It's a consistent bounce. So no, I think it'll be a good thing. I just think they'll get better and better at making these pitches.
Challenge there from Zaboleew. You can actually get it for your home garden now. Did you know that? It's called Lazy Boy Lawn.
Actually, I could do it with my putting. I need a green out the back. I play 3-putt far too much.
This is Reina. Just over 20 minutes to go here. And in difficult conditions, because it often is with these games, to maintain a level of entertainment that keeps the crowd at bay. But this part of a double-header, there's a game coming up after they finish here, which is why you can see the crowd building throughout this game, if you were wondering why. This is Portillo. Zaboleew. This is Zerbi looking to see if Zaboleew is going to continue his run down there. Velotti is there. Back into the path of Cassano. Zaboleew into Nocerino. Another change up coming in a minute. Esclemente is coming on for Olympia. Here that change can now be made, and it's going to be a sub for De Souza here, who's had a pretty good game at the heart of the defence along with Palacios. He's tried his best.
Well, they have, that's all they can do, but I think certainly with so many runners coming forward, they're not getting picked up. It's always difficult for the defenders and the goalkeeper, but he stuck to his task and had a pretty good game.
Mesba with the interception. Media waiting for a cross. They got 3 in the penalty area here. There's not too many occasions in the 71 minutes we've been playing where they've had that many in there.
No, that's right. They do get out wide. They haven't found that quality ball in, but they're still trying. There's 3 in the box now.
Media's in there, and so to Rojas. And that is a very good goal from the substitute. Well, We said earlier, if you deliver the crosses, they will score the goals. And I don't think we expected the defender to do it. Literally has been on the field for, what, literally about not even 5 minutes. Here comes the run. And Escalante with the goal.
It really was an excellent ball in. Of course, it's our man Bakalis. Way too much space there. Valotti just lets his man run, but it really was an excellent finish. Good headed goal. The crowd are cheered, and they get something for their hard work today.
So 3-1. And this is De Giglio. They'll give them a bit of a head of steam. We might get a real competition now here as they press forward. This is Emilio. Roas is waiting patiently again. That just skimmed off of his head. Now the confidence is really beginning to bubble here, isn't it? As Mejia, he loses out. Torino. This is Cristante. Into Irby Emanuelson. They've been kept at bay, but there's no doubt that Milan have taken their foot off the gas a bit in the second half, and you can hardly blame them really, because they've got quite a busy schedule here, a lot of travelling around.
No, that's right, and also let's not forget the players that have come on. They're 2 18-year-olds, a 17-year-old in midfield, so it's bound to happen, but it's all very good experience for them. I think the tempo of the game has been good, and it's nice to see at least Olympia come back into the game.
Escobar. This is Palacios. Bekeles to Ravino. Well, it just shows you what a goal can do to your confidence, even in a friendly game. Just felt that they were suffering from a lack of it. They were always far too aware of the potential for conceding goals than they were for the potential for them to actually cause Milan any trouble. There's Valotti, very nearly got it in for De Giglio. Look over their shoulder there by Portillo. And again, Portillo. Arevalo again. So we're just getting ready to bring on Ambrosini. Neches is down there as well. This is Arevalo once more. Nicely picked up by Rojas. Now he can shoot. Rojas.
Well, confidence is coming, isn't it? And Rojas there picks the ball up. Attacks the Milan defenders. Little smile. Now Ambrosini, well, that will up the average age, won't it?
He's still going strong. Ambrosini on for Cassano. They do have and have had over the last 30 years these talismanic figures, haven't they, Milan? Right away from Costa Curta and Baresi and Maldini, and you can always, he might not be in the same class as those in terms of being a player, but Ambrosini made his debut with Milan back in 1995.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, you talked about, and then of course losing someone like Nesta, who understands that as well, but Ambrosini been there, done it, and he'll be there to certainly pass his experience on.
The one thing surprising about his career, he did start at Milan. He was then, well, he started actually at Cesena, but when he went to Milan, he didn't really settle in early on, and he was loaned out as well to Vicenza. But it's when he came back in '98, and from then to where we are now, he's been almost a constant in the Milan teams over the years. But he's only ever picked up 35 caps, which is something of a surprise. I mean, people say, oh, you know, look at the quality of players in front, but for the role that he plays, you would have thought that he would have been something of a mainstay.
No, you're right, but again, the style that he plays, certainly very much, you know, defensive-minded in that midfield there with plenty of experience.
Total professional, isn't he, as well, the way still playing the same game at the age that he is. Testimony to how well he's looked after himself, and he's not been one of those players who down the years has picked up serious injury after serious injury. It's beautifully brought down there by De Giglio. Just trying to get the return, but he'd have to be going like Johan Blake to have picked that up.
It was against Bolt, that was the problem. Actually, the right-back area for Milan, if you think of over the years with Abate now and Cafu and what have you, it's been quite strong, hasn't it? But that left-hand side there, Antonini, Zambrotta, there's been one or two others. Taiwo came, didn't quite make it either. Emmanuelson could play there, but didn't too much. So it hasn't been their best position. But the right-back, I think they've been pretty well sorted.
Taiwo's just been sent out on loan. Zambrotta, of course, Zambrotta actually been in the news, just celebrated the birth of his first child. So he's going to be a busy man. That was Danilo Tosello. He's the coach of Olympia. Quite a young coach as well. He's only 42 years of age. 5th highest all-time goal scorer in the National League as well of Honduras is their coach. Well, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, isn't it, just exactly how his season goes. Yeah, because like you said, you know, get him on, score a few goals, and he's going to have competition from the likes of this guy here, Prožnik.
Well, that's exactly right. And if the season goes anything like this game has gone, then it's going to be very disappointing indeed, because he had a couple of great chances to score, build that confidence. He missed them, and the second half, I've got to say, that's probably the second time I've seen him on those pitches here, because he's been very quiet on that left-hand side, not made a great impression, and now he's come off. So for him, this hasn't been a positive game.
This is an interesting buy by Milan. It was Prožnik, who came from Austria, began his career with Rapid in Austria, where his father, who's a former international and player over there, and who also played in Bundesliga, he actually coaches the under-19 team over there, Christian Prožnik. But Chelsea have got this amazing scouting network. They are constantly hoovering up some of Europe's and the world's best youth talent, but they get it on the books, and it rarely, if ever progresses. And you might want to see when Frank Arneson left, he took 5 or 6 of them straight over to Germany in the Bundesliga with Hamburg, and you got problems with players like Lukaku now, although he at least is getting game time. Prožnik was one of those players that was scouted, picked up, bought, and they didn't get anywhere.
And there's a lot of them there, and of course they won the FA Youth Cup last season, and I've seen many of their players. Piazon, they've got a fantastic left winger. Well,
Piazon,
how are we going to see him come through? And there's so many of them, and Todd Kane, a good English right back as well, that I think should be, you know, certainly in that first team squad. Well, Chelsea no doubt are looking for a big right back to buy, and will he get his chance? So it is very difficult for them.
Yeah, Lucas Piazon is another of those players. We saw him at the South American Under-18 Championships. That is a brilliant ball. Well, what an introduction that would have been. Velotti, who's only been on about 10 or 15 minutes.
A tremendous run, wasn't it?
That's
and
a
there
fantastic
again,
run.
Right back getting caught. It's a tremendous ball too.
Ambrosini's ball.
Ping, wasn't it? That's what you want.
Beautifully set up.
The young man there could have made an early name for himself.
To the final 10 minutes, but yeah, you're right. It's the football's shopping mall. Goes all the way around the world these days. There's never a day goes by where there isn't a game on some television channel that you can't see somewhere. And these days players as well, highly aware of the fact that they're on display. And with the myriad of websites and everything else, you put in something special, somebody will be knowing about it in a very, very short space of time.
No, most certainly. And Chelsea, as do many clubs now in the Premier League, are really looking all around the world, and there's some wonderfully talented young players.
You've got to say that Chelsea's more than most for the amount of talent that they've picked up from everywhere in the last couple of years. It really has been a who's who of some of the top players we've seen in some of the UEFA European Championships, from under 16 up to under 19. Very, very proactive.
Lukaku will be interesting this season to see actually how much game time he gets, because let's not forget, they paid a lot of money for him, 18 million, and last season how many times did he play?
Next not to a none. Lot.
Exactly.
Well, Drogba's now gone, of course. He got a bit of game time, I think, in the game against Milan, didn't he, the other day. Torres, of course, will be the #1 striker there, or you think he would be the #1 striker, but it's going to be the big question whether he comes back as the player that you saw conclude the European Championships, one bubbling over with confidence, or one who suddenly returns to how he was for the majority of the campaign last year. This is Cristante.
And I think in Milan's case as well, if Berlusconi is now saying we need to be more like Barca and develop, well, that's exactly what these young players want to hear. They know they're going to get their chance, and if they're not good enough, they'll be out. But if they are, they can progress.
Like we said earlier, it's worth remembering that Milan have not always been a club that waved the jet boot. There is a very, very rich history down the last 35 years of talent that they have developed of their own. So it can be done. Much better second half performance, though, from Olympia, that has really made a bit more of a game of this, because at the end of the first half, it was looking as if this could be racked up to about 6, 7 or maybe 8 goals without too much of a problem.
Well, I think fortunately both sides made changes which really did affect the flow of the game. But you're right, they've got their goal and they showed a lot of confidence from there.
Arevalo's ball, a bit too adventurous this time. It's the coach, Zaboleew. He will have plenty on his mind, most notably how to build a squad that is not only going to win their league, which is but is also going to be challenging for the CONCACAF Champions League. Yeah, the Revolution are up next on this pitch here tonight. There's Erby Emanuelson. Ambrosini.
And of course, we didn't quite finish my one game that I actually played here as well.
Yes, absolutely right. We didn't. You have to get it in.
Do we really have to?
Yeah, we do.
Well, unfortunately, yes, it was on a trip to America where England played USA in this very stadium. And unfortunately, we went down 2-0. And of course, the immortal headlines the next day in the Sun newspaper was Yanks 2, Planks 0. Yes, I was part of the Planks.
Oh dear, and it was Alexi Lalas who said, wasn't it, who scored one of the goals?
He was, and anyone remember the big ginger-haired, bearded skipper of the USA climbed high from a corner and stuck it in. And yes, they played very well. Unfortunately, we lost that one, and we went on to then play, I think, Germany in the Detroit Silverdome, I think it is, and then Brazil at Washington. And I played against Cafu, I remember it well, running up and down. I'm sure he was on a motorbike. He just kept running from left to right, but great experience.
Ooh, could be a bit of experience here for the goalkeeper, Escobar. Recovers his situation well then. Straight through to Pizzagli in the Milan goal. Trio of goalkeepers this season for them. Emilia, of course, we saw in the first half. Abbiati. I'm amazed. The thing with Abbiati is the fact that he's still only 35 years of age. I'm sure we were watching him in the very early days when Gascoigne was over in Italy with Lazio, of course.
I'll check his passport.
Over the head there of the goalkeeper, Escalante. Reyna's not going to get there. Mesba galloping forward, picked off by Palacios. Going to get his pocket picked if he's not careful. Sherby into Ambrosini. Here. Again, good interception once more from Portugal. Has done some good work in this game. This is Mejia.
Well, the game now is just dying out, isn't it? Ready for the final whistle, but it's been a good workout, certainly. I think the main thing for these sorts of games, we'll pick up no injuries, get a good high-tempo workout, and that's what's happened. But, of course, with Milan, there's still 3 weeks to go to this build-up, so it's a tough old tour, but it really is part of their pre-season preparation still.
Yeah, and what they want now is they want to go into the game against Real Madrid, put in a good performance, possibly get a good result out of that to go with this and the victory over Chelsea. So, they'll have come off a tour where they've beaten the European champions, one of the world's elite, and a half decent at times South American outfit as well. And it does the headline makers a bit of good because they can actually get something positive going, instead of all the negative vibe that's been hanging over the place. The fans wanting refunds on their season tickets after the sale of the big name players. They need to just concentrate on what's ahead for this season, and they've got a lot going for them, and they've got a lot to play for.
No, most certainly so, but of course we know Serie A, there is so much pressure, isn't there? So they've got to get off to a good start, and you're right, they need support at this point in time.
That's why having players like Ambrosini around is going to be really, really important for them. There is the final whistle, and it's met by generous applause. They've seen a good run out here from Allegri's team. Milan have won by 3-1. All the damage done in the first half by a rampant Robinho, who had a wonderful 45 minutes. And Nocerino added a couple of goals as well. They went 3 up. We thought it was going to be 5, 6, 7 and 8. But Olympia, to their credit, just rejigged things at half-time. They came out with a bit more intent to their game, and they attacked. They looked more dangerous, and they got a goal as well from Escalante just 18 minutes from time. So all in all, a good workout for Milan. They can move forward now to that game with Real Madrid. Hope you've enjoyed the action then here from the Gillette Stadium. From Tony Dorigo, from me, Tim Cable. Till next time, bye-bye for now.